need to do.
All right. This is Diana of the Amazons, and I'm here with the color commentary crew as they discuss my new movie, Wonder Woman 2020. Wait, that's incorrect. It's Wonder Woman 1984. The movie was just as bad as 2020. Let me take off my glasses here because obviously in a DC movie, if you wear glasses, you're ugly. Let me go ahead and bring on my compatriot, Mr. Maxwell Lord. Maxwell, do the thing.
Life is good, but it could be better.
This movie is bad, but it could be better.
It's bad. It needs to be better.
Of course, guys, this is Rashad here and my compatriot Charlie Taylor here. We're going to go ahead and get into Wonder Woman 1984 and our thoughts. We're going to cut right to the chase there, sir. Mr. Chuck Taylor, non-spoiler review, real fast, sir, real fast. What were your thoughts on this movie?
This movie, it was very colorful. A lot of vibrant colors. People could jump and fly, and that's about it. It was kind of confusing. The movie jumps around, doesn't stay consistent to a plot. The villain and I guess the cast of characters, they kind of don't gel well together to me, based off of just giving you guys like a non-spoiler. I really couldn't really catch what it was trying to really teach in the movie. I guess it was hard. The actual point of the story was hard to really understand. Like, okay, they made this movie, they want to show this out of it, and it was kind of hard to like, okay, what did y'all want? What did y'all want this movie to be about? Like, what is it telling us? To me, it missed a lot. It jumped. It just made stuff up. It just made like logical things that would normally happen. It decided like, okay, he's just gonna know how to do this, or they're just gonna know how to do this. No explanation on how it became. It's just now they know how to do it and it works. Okay. So other than that, it was pretty boring to me. Like, it had a couple fight scenes at the early portions of it, but once it was kind of just dragged out too long. Too much mushiness to me, especially for like a second movie. Second movies are usually kind of, especially when it's action, it's like superhero movies, they're kind of like, geared up more with the high energy, the fight scenes, the storyline, things are moving a lot quicker. This one was just like, what is happening? Like, this is really boring. Is something gonna happen? Is there a point to any of this? So, and once it gets kind of moving in, the last part of the movie, I thought it would be, it was a big letdown. Like I said, it's just a big letdown, especially the last part of the movie. The fight scenes to me weren't that epic. They were just okay. The first movie was so much better. The fight scenes on the first movie were way better, just the story in general. So, this one was not a great movie.
All right. Well, I will, as Diana of the Amazon, will go ahead and concur on that, sir. This movie was very disappointing. Oh, man. Here's the problem, my number one problem with the movie. If the movie's going to be mushy and all that, I don't care if it's mushy. But if it's going to have a lot of relationship stuff, if it's going to veer away from what we're expecting, then just change the trailers. Let us know during the trailers what to expect. Because those trailers are like, man, she's beating up people, man. She's flying on the lightning. She's doing everything, everything that we wanted to see. So we're going into it expecting a high action movie. And all of the stuff that we saw in the trailer was there, but it was so spread out that you really didn't even care about it that much. So that's one of my things. There was a lot of the mushy scenes. Again, I don't care that it's mushy. That's perfectly fine. But I should say the things that were not action were way too drawn out. Like, if I were to give you, like, here, Charlie, have this, and you just hold on to it for like 30 seconds. Like, here, take this. Yes, you're happy to have this in your hand.
Thank you.
Yes, it's like just take it and go on with about your business. So yeah, this is kind of disappointing. So anyway, let's go ahead and get on into our spoiler review on this movie. Here we go. Spoiler. Go ahead and represent my DC shirt. It's interesting that they don't have Wonder Woman on here. And let's go ahead and change to our Wonder Woman backgrounds here, sir. Boom. Wonder Woman. All right, sir. Your non-spoiler review on this movie. Spoiler review of this movie. What are your feelings on that?
All right, so for non-spoilers, I'm gonna get right into it. The opening scene I thought was way too long. It was interesting to see her kind of jump back in time. I mean, they kind of did that on the first one, showed her as a child. But it was just like, wow, I'm like, this is part of like this is like 11 or 12.
The very opening scene. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
The very opening scene. It's like it kind of gets you in here, but it's like, man, this thing is long. Like,
bro, don't be talking about that, man. That was the best part of the movie, man. Don't be hating on that.
I'm just telling you how it did.
I'd have been fine.
All right. Anyway, it's just my time. I think this is my time. It's not yours.
Well, you know,
right, so it was too long for me. Yes, it wasn't bad. I didn't say it was bad. I just thought it was too long. So once the movie started, it didn't really match up with that part. Cause like, oh, that was like, all right, yeah, let's get you into it. And then right back to Diana, she's like all sad and depressed. I'm like, she's been depressed for a long time. Cause this was in 2000. What? World War I is when he died, right?
Yeah, like 19.
And she's like still all moody, so she just went generations, just depression. So the opening scene with her fighting in the mall. I mean, it looked so cool on the trailers, but it kind of felt like a Power Rangers. It just felt really cheesy. It felt kind of like the old type of superhero movies, like the Batman punch, pow. It's like that's what it kind of felt like when she was in there. I'm like, is she gonna do something like these? Just regular dudes, and like, I don't know. That whole scene kind of like, okay, I hope it's gonna get better. And then from there, from that point on, it tries to get developed into the story, but it's just like it takes a long time to really start moving. When I guess the antagonist or the actual villain, when he kind of comes in, I guess the whole villain for the movie is really the actual what's it, the diamond? What is that thing? The little rock.
The wishing stone.
The wish rock or something. What is that thing called?
The wishing stone.
The wishing stone. Oh, they actually called it that. Yeah, it could have came out with a better name. But yeah, that whole thing when he kind of turns into, when he asked to turn into the rock, I thought he was gonna turn into like a rock, like he would like get powers or some type of thing. But he didn't. He just got the powers of the rock. So I was like, oh, okay. So he's gonna be regular, and it took me a while to kind of catch on what he was doing. Like he's granting people wishes. Like, was he getting something out of it? Because it didn't really show. It didn't really tell us that it took something from people. So when you just saw him giving people wishes, I'm like, well, how is he able to just make his own demands after he gets a wish? Did The Rock do that or something? Because it didn't. At that point in the movie, I don't remember saying that The Rock did anything after he asked for a wish. So that kind of confused me a little bit when I saw him just saying, "I'm gonna take your company." I'm like, how the heck he's gonna do that? Like,
it was confusing.
It did say that.
No, I mean it was. Yeah, it was confusing because it didn't really. That wasn't clear until a little bit later. So yeah, you're right. Okay.
And I guess how easily he was able just to find everything he needed. I guess people could have wished for him to be able to find, to have success very easily or something, because it seemed like when he went and talked to the president, that was just kind of like that. Like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. So you gonna walk into the president's office and they just happen to have the super secret plans just sitting on a board in the room. Like when you turn around, like, what is that? Okay, I want to do that. I'm like, what? Okay, that's just like, come on, DC. To me, I just thought it was a lot of lazy writing. Like they didn't try at all to like fix any gaps. They just like, well, let's just make stuff happen.
30 more seconds there, Mr. Taylor.
Okay, 30 seconds. And the Catwoman, well, she wasn't the Catwoman earlier, but her wish was stupid. To be more like Diana, like how does The Rock like figure out what somebody really wants. She didn't know Diana was strong. She know. I mean, she could have took any quality of Diana, but she took all the qualities and the strength. So I thought that was kind of stupid. And then she just like instantly like just, you know, becomes okay looking, but then she's not better looking than Diana, so it didn't really match up to me. But it's a lot of other things. I'm gonna let you go. I'm pretty sure you're gonna hit on a lot of other stuff. Wasn't a good movie. Sorry, DC. I gotta go back and try again.
Yes, you do, DC. Y'all just need to just give up and just fire everybody. And man, because yes, I'm gonna go ahead and jump in on that. But I'm gonna start on a positive note. The fact when you were talking about that she didn't look as good as Diana, because yes, Diana looked absolutely gorgeous when she popped out of the like the limo or whatever she was popping out of with her white, you know, thing on here like I had on earlier. That's my interpretation. Wow.
Yeah, no, not like that. Not like that.
She was stunning. Like she was stunning, my friend. Yeah, so she is gorgeous. There's a couple of issues I have with Diana that Charlie warned me I shouldn't discuss those.
Yeah, we should move on past that.
If we want, all both sexes watching and not angrily tweeting about our show here. But I just want to say a couple of things that disappoint me about her. But yeah, she is beautiful. But yeah, when the other girl comes on, she's just not that hot. You know what I mean? It's like I think you mentioned before, like they should have got the girl, like one of the girls from the Transformers movies. I don't know the name of the second one, but not Megan Fox. I mean, she would have been hot too. But the other girl, yeah, that'd have been great. You know, somebody that could be equal in terms of appearance.
Equal and gorgeous.
But I mean, she was just like regular looking. You know what I mean? That was kind of a disappointment. You know. But anyway, back over to the rest of the movie here. I don't expect comic movies to completely follow the laws of physics, but I want them to at least make some type of sense. And the fact that they just pulled out of their behind the invisible jet. First of all, it was a jet that was just sitting in a museum somewhere full of gas, of fuel, full of gas. Like, what? From Washington D.C. to what was that, Greece or wherever they flew? Just sitting there, full of gas.
And then our boy can fly it in like 2 seconds.
Yes, and people are saying wrong because it's like, oh, you know, he can fly jets in World War II. No, bro, he was flying jets in World War I. This is when they first got jets. Before that, they were spinning propellers. I mean, you know. Sad. No, matter of fact, they probably didn't have jets in World War I. They probably just had propellers. You know, so to go from that to being able to fly an extremely sophisticated military jet is just ridiculous. And then all of a sudden, she's like, I'm just going to make it invisible. And I'm never going to use that power again. That's a really good power to have, to be able to make things invisible. Invisible Woman from the Fantastic Four, that's her whole thing. You know? Let me see here. The whole body replacement thing was dumb, and it left it open for a very bad interpretation of things. You know, like when you think about it, I didn't think about it like that initially. When I say body replacement, I'm talking about, what's his name? Steve Trevor. Like, they definitely should have just let him appear out of nowhere.
Yeah, just appear. To me, I didn't under why y'all try to be so complicated on this one part, but the whole rest of the movie y'all don't care what happened. Like, just make him reappear. Why he got to go be reincarnated into some other living soul? Like, kick that dude. Like, where does that do that? Like,
exactly.
Just chilling on the side.
Because somebody was making the point. It's kind of like, so imagine if the roles were reversed and it was Superman and he was sleeping with some woman, you know, that Lois Lane took over her body, and at the end of the movie he's like, ooh, dodge that bullet, and just flew off with this woman that had been, you know, having sex with Superman and didn't even know about it. Yes, son, that's called rape.
Oh, yeah. Wow! You know what? Yeah, that's another thing we didn't talk about.
Yeah, this movie was definitely boring. Oh, and one other big disappointment, and I'm done. The lightning bolt thing, man, that was like the dopest thing. Because I remember when they put out the trailer for Black Widow, and they put out the trailer for Wonder Woman. It was like, oh, Black Widow's going to have to step it up because Wonder Woman is freaking lassoing lightning and flying on it. And it's like, it was something that it happened just in passing.
It was like, so it was like the meh. man, that's all. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it was still cool. It looked cool. It looked every bit as good as it looked in the trailer. But in the trailer, they do a better job of setting up the fact that she is literally flying on something that moves like half the speed of light. And in this movie, it's kind of like, yeah, she can do that.
She's like gliding it.
Yeah, so this movie was very disappointing, and that's all I got to say about it, sir. Mr. Chuck, how many Chucks does this good movie get?
So we're gonna give you the range. This is out of 10 is the best. I would give this movie probably. I was about to say something really mean, but I'm gonna give it 3 Chucks.
Woo! Well, that is really mean. Is it that bad? It's bad.
I give it 3 because I wouldn't say 5 because 5 is a decent movie. I think I give it 3 because of, and now that I go back and like think about it, like, and I think about all the parts and all the different parts, like, this don't really make any sense. Like, I really dislike it a lot more. I think it was okay to watch, like, just a passing movie. I'm not saying the movie itself was horrible, but when you just go back and think about it, and they took like 2 years to bring it out. So I put all of that into account to this movie. So you had a long time to get this movie right.
Right.
Like, you had a long time to get this right. Somebody should have looked at this movie like, yeah, we might want to have some reshoots in here, or add something to help understand. Everybody was like, oh, this is great. Like, nobody said anything. So I can see probably only one person runs the whole studio at DC, and they just like, yeah, I like it. So, you know, I don't have anybody else to give any other objections to really help the movie, you know, go full circle. So yeah, I'm only giving it about 3.5 Chucks.
I feel like what you call it? I feel like they had the movie down great, and then with all that extra time, they're like, well, let's insert a little extra scene here. Let's add a little something right here. Let's really develop this love little scene a little bit. Just add a little bit more here. Like, it might have been great, and they just, wanted to make it perfect. So I'm not going to be that terrible. It wasn't a bad movie, but it was a very disappointing movie. That's what I'll say. Because it fell on the heels of Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was a very good movie. So to go from Wonder Woman to this movie, it really fell off. Really, the only bad thing about Wonder Woman was the whole Ares fight. All they had to do is fix his stupid mustache. They're looking like Commissioner Gordon fighting. What you doing, man? That part sucked. But other than that, Wonder Woman was a good movie. So how can you just go from a movie that's so good, to a movie that's at the bottom of the DC movies? But I don't think it was a bad movie. I just think it was very disappointing. It is, however, one of the worst DC movies. I would say it's probably better than Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad was gutter trash. But it's definitely at the bottom, in that bottom range.
DC has a lot of bottom movies. So if it's at the, like, when you compare to other franchises or other movies, it's really bad. Like, compared to those,
it's worse than Justice League to me, and it's worse than
it's worse than Justice League.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Batman v Superman was pretty horrible. But I liked it. I like some scenes on it. I had to watch the uncut version to see they probably should have put this actually in the movie, because it makes it a lot better when you see some of the extra scenes that they have in it. I saw it on HBO Max. They have the uncut longer version with all the extra scenes. I'm like, okay, stuff is starting to make more sense now. They might have just left some of this in the theater because it was really bad in the theater.
Well, I'm gonna give this movie 5 out of 10 Chucks. So I'm not going to completely destroy it.
That much. 3.5, 5. That's about the same.
That is the same. Can you imagine taking a test and you got a 30?
A 50 or 30 is a flunking grade. What's the difference? It's trash. It's trash. I'm sorry.
30 is like the teacher hates you. But anyway.
I mean, I gave the other one an 8. So, this one is really bad. So it gets 3, 4. Half of that.
So let's hear your comments on this. Go ahead and leave your comments here in the comment section on YouTube or Facebook or wherever it is that you see us. And make sure to give us a like. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe to survive. This, of course, is Color Commentary, where we give you views from a different side, and I renounce my wish of getting HBO Max.
Saturday morning.